RTV6, sponsored by Turning Point Dental and Duncan. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Now at 11, a man goes overboard while canoeing on the White River, and there is still no sign of him. Coming up, we've got details on those search efforts. Plus, the efforts happening today to keep city's kids safe this summer. How they're hoping boxing will help knock out gun violence. And the Hollywood heavyweights are taking over the track. Find out how the Jason Bourne and Batman actors will make their mark on tomorrow's race. But first, a big question on most people's minds tonight: is the rain on Sunday going to put the brakes on the Indy 500? Good evening, I'm Trevor Shirley here with meteorologist Kyle Mounts, and that is the big question tonight. Everybody wants to know, what's this race going to look like tomorrow?
Well, we know we're going to have to deal with some rain throughout the day on Sunday, and it's going to be all about that timing. Yeah. Yep. Let's go ahead and kind of break it down for you. And you can see tomorrow morning, if you're heading out to the Motor Speedway, get that rain gear ready, because almost a certainty that we're going to be dealing with some rain to start off our Sunday. But notice what happens as we go through the morning and into the early afternoon. Those rain chances dip down a little bit. They don't completely go away, but they're looking a little bit better before they spike heading into the afternoon. And just keep this in mind, a couple years ago, the 101st running of the Indy 500 picked up almost an inch of rain that day, but there were no race delays due to the weather, because all of that fell outside of race time. And tonight we're looking pretty good. Storm Team 6 radar nice and quiet for us, with temperatures that are still unseasonably mild. Here we're in the lower 70s. Exception for you in Greensburg, you're in the upper 60s right now. Getting ready to head out the door though in the morning, there are those chances for showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures right around 70 degrees as that sun rises at 6:22.
All right, Kyle, thanks. Also tonight, search and rescuers have called off their efforts to find a missing man in the White River on the west side of town. According to IFD, a couple was in the process of taking a selfie when they noticed a capsized canoe floating behind them in the frame. When they turned around, they saw a man struggling in the fast-moving water, who eventually was swept under by the current. Crews were called out around 6 p.m., but so far that victim hasn't been found, and conditions have not made the search any easier.
We have not found anything today because the river is it's moving at a pretty swift current, and the divers can't dive. They do have had the sonar out there for about an hour and a half. It is whatever it's picking up is not anything that they're thinking as a person.
The IFD says once they got the call, another woman called 911 to report that her fiancé did not show up at an arranged meeting point like he was supposed to after canoeing. Authorities do believe that woman's fiancé and the victim who was seen in the water are the same person. Teams will resume their search efforts tomorrow. And rescuers in Delphi today continued their hunt for Owen Jones of the Monticello area. He's the 4-year-old boy who's been missing since Thursday, when a witness saw him being swept down Deer Creek. Officials say high water levels have dropped slightly in the rain-swollen creek, giving them better access. They're using boats, sonar, and drones to find that little boy. Authorities say he'd been playing in Delphi's Riley Park, through which that creek flows. Well, Guns Down, Gloves Up. It's a program that's being touted to reduce gun violence in Indianapolis this summer. There was a cookout and a basketball tournament at Arlington Middle School today, and as RTV6's Derek Thomas reports, organizers are hoping this leads to a safer summer.
Can we punch our way out of the cycle of gun violence?
You could die from a gun. Feel me? Like it could backfire or anything. And feel me? I thought about that, and feel me? I stopped carrying guns around.
So you're a better person now?
Yes, sir.
15-year-old Davion Shaw wears an ankle bracelet because he's serving a sentence for discharging a gun back in 2018. He's in the Guns Down, Gloves Up program. 18-year-old Julius Beverly is too.
I think it's easier to use these instead of using a pistol.
In a boxing situation,
yes, sir,
with gloves, not just fighting in the street.
They get in trouble and they get these felonies, and then they give up because they can't get jobs and pursue careers in education. But through this program, they have motivation, inspiration, and a feeling of hope. And with the backup that you need, they know that the sky's the limit.
We don't teach boxing. What we're teaching is anger management, conflict resolution, and it's therapy. These young men, some of our young ladies, have a lot of anger built up inside. So if we can provide them with an outlet to release some of that anger in a constructive environment, and if they do it against someone else, we teach them a self-respect, for that opponent. We teach them a self-respect for each other. So if they do see or are faced with a choice to pick up a gun to kill somebody, maybe they say it's not worth it.
It's a program that is still trying to gain its footing. But if it is able to change Davion and Julius, why not others? Derek Thomas, RTV6.
And that cookout today was a collaborative effort of the Indy Mentor Network. That's a group that consists of 5 different agencies. And new at 11, the man accused of shooting multiple people near the Ball State campus has now been charged with attempted murder. The charge against 19-year-old Vashon Harnett alleges he shot and seriously wounded a 20-year-old man during a house party on May 18th. Now, a total of 7 people were shot. One of them died 2 days later. Now, Harnett is not charged with shooting the 17-year-old boy who died, but prosecutors say more charges might be filed after ballistics tests are completed. Harnett told police he only shot another partygoer who pointed a gun at him first. Harnett is scheduled to appear in court on Wednesday. And IMPD is investigating tonight after the department says 3 people were shot near the downtown canal early this morning. It happened on 10th Street around the canal. Police say they found one victim at 10th and Senate, telling them he'd walked to that location. Then 2 other victims were identified after driving themselves to Methodist Hospital. We're told all of them are now in good condition. That's according to police. Several nearby buildings and windows were also hit. Now, it's not clear at this point whether police are looking for a suspect, but we do know that they are interviewing witnesses. And a Marion County Sheriff's deputy involved in a motorcycle crash is recovering tonight. The crash happened this morning on I-465 near West 86th Street on the northwest side of town. The Sheriff's Department says Sergeant Joseph Poski was on duty at the time of the crash. That accident caused the closure of all southbound lanes on 465 in that area while crews cleaned up the scene. Also tonight, summer in Brownsburg, starting off on an obscene note after employees with the Parks and Recreation Department discovered vandalism at the city's splash pad. Officials say someone left behind what they're calling a, quote, inappropriate piece of artwork. They are hoping, though, that because the facility is equipped with security cameras, they'll be able to catch those suspects quickly. Well, a lot of Hollywood heavy hitters in town for the Indy 500, and today 2 of them were talking with reporters about a new movie they're working on, which is, appropriately enough, all about racing. Actors Christian Bale and Matt Damon both star in the upcoming Ford versus Ferrari movie. It's a true story based on the Ford Motor Company's vision to build a race car that could take on Ferrari race cars back in the 1960s. Now, tomorrow, both of them will be waving the green flag to start the race, so if you're out there, you might be able to catch a glimpse of those stars. Earlier today, though, they also talked about what it's like to be a part of something as historic as the Indianapolis 500.
I've never been here, and I've heard about it, read about it, watched it on TV, and I know that there's no expectation I have that can prepare me for what I'm going to see tomorrow. I can't wait. I mean, this is bigger than anything we do in this country, sports-wise. It's and we're going to be like right in the thick of it. So I can't wait.
And their movie Ford versus Ferrari is expected to hit theaters later this year in November. And coming up ahead, 2 weeks after she went missing, a hiker is found alive in the jungles of Hawaii. Now we're hearing from her for the first time about how she survived the entire ordeal. Plus, former anchor Dion Willis remembers her years here at WRTV6 and why she says the place felt like a family as we continue to look back on our 70 years of history working for you.
And be storm ready with Storm Shield tomorrow as you're going to be around town. That will send radar and alerts right to your mobile phone. We'll have a closer look at that timeline. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
Friday to Monday only at Ashley Home Store.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
Well, it was 9 against hundreds in Dayton, Ohio. 9 members of a group connected to the Ku Klux Klan showed up to rally in front of the courthouse, but hundreds more were there in counter-protest. Members of an Indiana-based Klan group got a permit to hold their rally months ago, so city officials and community leaders organized rallies of their own called Dayton United Against Hate. They held events all over the city to make sure everyone was safe. The city ended up spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on everything from blocking off streets to bringing in extra police officers. There were no problems, and city leaders say they do not regret spending that extra money. Here's a great story. Tonight we're hearing for the first time from a woman named Amanda Eller. She's the Hawaiian hiker who was found alive after disappearing for more than 2 weeks. Here's Ty Hernandez with the latest on how she's doing.
Amanda Eller from her hospital bed thanking everyone who rescued her.
I have the most gratitude and respect and appreciation. I can't even put it into words for the people that have helped me.
She disappeared while hiking in Maui. County officials calling off the search after 72 hours, but volunteers dubbed Amanda's Angels persisted.
We found her, guys! We did it!
Photos showing the 35-year-old yoga instructor looking thin and overcome with emotion as she made the first phone call following her ordeal.
I think she took a good fall. She did something to her ankles or knees that impeded her.
Eller, a trained physical therapist, nursed her own injuries. She's now at Maui Memorial Hospital, where she's being treated for her injuries.
She does have a fracture that made it difficult for her to walk. I can't believe she did what she did.
Amanda saying the past 17 days have been the toughest of her life.
It's been a really significant spiritual journey. It did come down to life and death, and I had to choose. And I chose life.
Her mother thanking the community for their tremendous support.
I can't thank each and every one of them enough. As miracles do happen, and they're here today.
Eller, who survived by staying near a water source and eating wild berries and even some moths, is expected to make a full recovery. Ty Hernandez, ABC News, New York.
Well, it's almost here, the 70th anniversary of RTV6. We've had a lot of fun the past few weeks taking a look back at the people who made Channel 6 your source for news since May 30th of 1949. For nearly 15 years, Clyde Lee and Dion Willis anchored the news together. But when Dion got here from Boston in 1987, that was not the kind of commitment she'd had in mind.
When I first came, I really thought 2 years. Really wanted a family, really wanted children very badly. I wanted balance in my life. I didn't have that anchoring and reporting in Boston. I wanted the best of all things. And, but I've quickly found what a wonderful city this is. What a kind city, what a compassionate city, what a great city to raise a family. And I fell in love also with this newsroom, with the people here. We made it a family. We did everything we could to create a sense of cohesion and a feeling of belonging and supporting one another through the good times and the bad, through the hard times, through the babies being born and weddings and the other parts of life. And we were there for each other, competitive with the other stations, wanting to do the very best we could, but always there for each other. I baked cookies in, evenings, to create that, or to reinforce that, or to remind myself that, yeah, this is my family too.
And I am told that those who've been lucky to taste those chocolate chip cookies from Dion, that they are legendary. Now, Dion left Channel 6 back in 2001. She and her husband, Clyde Lee, continue to call Indianapolis home. And you can see Dion and Clyde again on Thursday as they anchor our 1-hour anniversary special starting at 7 p.m. That show's called 70 Years Together, RTV6 Working for You. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we sure hope you'll be able to join us. Well, heat is often a big issue on race day, and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is ready for any problems that it can cause. Now, keep in mind there are cooling stations with mist spraying fans for visitors who feel overheated. And of course, you can get treated at the track hospital for more serious ailments. Medics say if you're going to be drinking alcohol while you're out at the race, you should also be drinking plenty of water and Gatorade.
And what is the biggest mistake people are making to end up in this situation?
Drinking a lot without having water involved with it. So you have to replenish your electrolytes, and just drinking water doesn't do that. So you really need to have Gatorade or Powerade to replenish the stuff that you're taking out with drinking alcohol.
It's actually been super nice. They have a lot of these things out here for us to keep drinking water in mind.
The misting fans are amazing. I feel much better. I feel cooler, ready to go, and just take on the day.
During Carb Day on Friday, paramedics told us they saw roughly 10 people suffering from heat-related issues every 30 minutes.
Yeah, got to stay hydrated out there tomorrow, even though temperatures aren't going to be all that bad. But we have had some hot 500s. The hottest, 92. That was in 1937. We were not far off that mark last year, though. You probably remember it. We got into the 90s at 91 degrees. The coldest high temperature we've had in the early 90s there, 58 degrees for the afternoon high. And the wettest, nearly 4 inches of rain in 2004. Not going to have to deal with that much rain tomorrow. Right now, things are quiet, and you can see that the checkered flag flying there with Old Glory over downtown in the Circle City. We got 73 degrees for you. That southwest breeze around 10 miles per hour. And tonight, temperatures are not going to fall too much. We'll be into the upper 60s as the sun rises tomorrow morning. And again, that could come with some showers and thunderstorms. So let's take you into the timeline here. This is TrueCast. 4:30 in the morning, you can see area of rain developing back in Illinois, sliding in across the northern half of central Indiana by 7 a.m. Pretty soggy, especially from Indianapolis off to the north here. A few rumbles of thunder, not out of the question there as well. By mid-morning, 10 a.m., still dealing with quite a bit of widespread rain from Indianapolis to the north. You'll look to the south, Bloomington, Seymour, Bedford, Columbus, likely to be a dry first half of the day for you. Then we start to decrease those rain chances as we get to noon and the early afternoon hours. By 2 o'clock, isolated shower chances, but more rain does start to build in from the south and west. That may stay just south of I-70 here as we go through the afternoon. That would be best case scenario, but we'll also have some additional showers and storms kind of popping up with the heat of the day. And some of those could be on the strong to severe side. Slight risk across much of central Indiana tomorrow for the afternoon and evening, primarily for some gusty winds and some large hail in a few of those storms. But we mentioned the temperatures. Those are going to be held back because of the clouds and the wet weather. 74 at noon, 80 degrees for that afternoon high, especially if we work in just a little bit of sunshine. 82 in Columbus. Look at that, though. Stuck in the 70s at 77 for you in Lafayette. Memorial Day forecast. We still have some rain chances sprinkled in there through the day, but a lot more dry time, I think, than what we will have on our Sunday. Temperatures, as a result, will make their way back into the 80s. 7-day planning forecast for you. Put it all together, and there we've got another steamy day coming our way on Tuesday, as those rain chances only about 20%. So a spotty shower or storm there, and then more widespread wet weather for Wednesday and Thursday. The middle of the week does bring a bit of a cool down as highs are back into the 70s. And right now, early next weekend, small chance for a few showers and storms, but we're going to kind of break the summer heat for a bit.
Yeah, so throw an umbrella in your cooler when you're heading out.
Yeah, the rain gear, the poncho.
Not a bad idea.
For sure.
Yep, be sure to pack it. All right. And something to keep in mind, if you haven't already mapped out the best route to get to Indianapolis 500 tomorrow, don't worry. We're going to help you navigate your way to the track. That story is coming up ahead. Stay with us.
Buy or lease a new 2019 Atlas.
And today is also National Missing Children's Day. It's a chance to highlight children who've gone missing all across the country, including right here in Indiana. Right now, there are more than 60 Hoosier kids who are still considered missing. That's according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The National Missing Children's Day was started in 1983 by President Ronald Reagan as a way to encourage the families of missing kids and make safety a priority. And back to our Indy 500 coverage right now. The traditions continued this morning with the annual 500 Festival Parade happening for the 63rd time. Cars and floats winding their way through downtown Indianapolis. Plenty of celebrities on hand. Everyone from politicians, classic TV stars, and sports legends. Just some of the folks who were featured in the parade. We also got to see all the drivers for this year's Indy 500 just one day before they'll suit up and try to win the greatest spectacle in racing. Now, before everything got underway at the parade, though, there was the annual breakfast happening at the Central Library downtown. We caught up with a few of the celebrities there, including football star Terrell Davis, who talked about his first ever trip to the Speedway, which happened just last week.
See the venue, see how big it was, and you're talking about a venue that holds 300,000, spectators. I've never seen anything like it. So, and then to see the cars go through the warm-ups, it was like, all right, this is real.
Organizers say they were expecting around 300,000 people to line the streets to watch today's parade. The Grand Marshal was former race car driver Sam Schmidt, who you might remember suffered a spinal cord injury during a car crash in 2000. He's now a leading authority on spinal cord injuries and research. We all know traffic is always a challenge on race morning, and to make sure you get to the track as easily as you possibly can, you'll want to plan ahead and know your routes. Tonight, RTV6's traffic reporter Alana Martella did all of the legwork so you don't have to.
Well, come Sunday, IMS will be full of action, but getting to the race could be a problem. So whether you're coming from the north, the west, the east, or the south, the key is leaving early and knowing your zone. The north side of the track is the red zone, which is around 25th Street. So if you have parking passes to lots 1A, 1B, 1C, 4, or 4A premium, this is where you'll need to go. The west side is the green zone around Crawfordsville Road. So if you're parking in lots 2, 5, 6, 8, or 9, you'll want to come in from that west side. And the south side is the orange zone near 16th Street. And those with parking passes in lot 3 should come to IMS from the south. And for anyone who might be coming to IMS with Uber or Lyft, right here at Gilman and Main Street is the spot where your driver needs to drop you off. Keep in mind there will be a lot of road closures. Georgetown Road is closed from 25th Street to the south, and 16th Street will be closed from Olin Avenue to the 16th Street roundabout. And for those wanting to avoid vehicles, great news, you can bike or scooter to the track, but you'll need to park them at 10th Street and Allison Way. From Speedway, Elena Martella, RTV6.
And for routes to get you to and from IMS, as well as closures with Saturday's parades and Indigo impacts, all of that, you can search the story on our website over at theindychannel.com or, of course, the RTV6 News app. And RTV6 has race day covered for you with breakfast at the Brickyard starting at 5 a.m. We have 6 hours of live continuous coverage for you all morning. That's followed by our special, The Crucible of Speed, starting at 11 a.m. And then after the race, we're going to have our post-race live coverage beginning at 6 o'clock. Waiting on the rain when we come back, a final check on your race day forecast. Stay with us. All right, check this out. University of Arizona football coach Kevin Sumlin got quite a ride today, maxing out speeds in a two-seater Indy car driven by none other than racing legend Mario Andretti. Take a look. Coach Sumlin is also an Indianapolis native. He played sports at Brebeuf High School and then in college at Purdue. He's back in town this weekend for all the festivities and the race tomorrow. Take a look at this footage provided by IMS. Sumlin and Andretti tearing around that oval. We caught up with him right after the ride was over.
Virtual reality, anything like that, it can't even compare to what just happened. And pulling G's and being that close to the wall and how quick those corners come up, it's quite the experience.
Amazing to see. The ride is part of the fastest seat in sports driving experience that lets fans take a few laps around the track with driving legends.
Would you do it?
Oh, I'd totally do it. That actually looks really fun. I think I'd do it.
Yeah, I think I would too. Be a good day to go for a ride. Maybe not so much in the morning, though, as we're going to have some rain around. There's a look at TrueCast. As we go through the day, though, there's our window of opportunity there at the Motor Speedway to get the race in before more showers and a few storms move in for the afternoon. So really, it's going to be all about the placement there. Temperature-wise, those are held back because of the clouds and showers around. Temperatures will make their way into the upper 70s to around 80 degrees for that afternoon high. A little bit warmer for your Memorial Day before it cools down next week.
All right, Kyle, and thank you for watching tonight. We appreciate it. Keep it locked here tomorrow. We're going to have everything you need to know for your race and weather coverage. It's going to do it for us. Have a good night.